Welcome back to Established Dominance Fantasy Football. Ding here. This is the Week 6 Under Over Show. Today, we'll take a quick look at skill players who are most likely to do better or worse than expected this week. And before we jump in, do me a favor, and if you appreciate these podcasts, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and follow us on X at Established Dominance. Now, let's start off with the injuries. There's so many to cover, but I'm going to hit most of them. Wednesday is traditionally the day that the vets don't practice, so I'm just going to highlight the ones that are surprising for now. Follow my X feed for real-time updates during the week. Okay, here's the list. Njoku didn't practice. Josh Reynolds didn't practice with a hand injury. Brian Robinson didn't practice. He's got a knee injury. McNichols could be a good pickup here. Eckler was limited with a heel injury. Smith and Brown upgraded to full practice, so Hurts has both of his wide receivers back potentially. Pittman is a potential IR candidate. He's got a back injury that's more serious, and he might miss a couple of weeks. Zamir White didn't practice. Hebert was limited. Shaheed didn't practice with a hip issue. Rashad White was limited with a foot issue. Bateman didn't practice for groin. Rattler, he's going to start for Derek Carr. Good luck with that. Trey Sermon didn't practice. He's got a new collarbone issue. You might get Goodson, but Tennessee's a tough defense. Rethink that. Downs didn't practice. He's got a toe issue. That's new. Moss didn't practice. He has an ankle issue. Kittle is finally healthy. Neighbors didn't practice. Still got the concussion. Coach says he's getting better, but it's probably going to be another sit. Russell Wilson had a full practice. Fields is on a short leash. O'Connell is going to start for Vegas. Adams is out, so there's still no upside there. Leggett had a full practice. Deontay Johnson was limited with an ankle issue, but he's probably good to go. Stevenson didn't practice with a calf issue. Gibson probably gets the start here. Singletary had a limited practice. Mixon didn't practice, but Pierce practiced. Keir didn't practice. Chubb, coach says anything's possible. Boy, I love how they play that game. JT didn't practice. Richardson, he practiced, but he was probably limited. Collins, this is the big one. Nico Collins on IR won't come back until at least week 10. That's a tough blow. Tank Dell would get some increased reps, I think, in this case. And then, of course, Adams is still out. Who's going to win the trade war? My money's on KC. Who's with me? All right. Again, Wednesday is a typical do not practice for vets or injuries that we know about. So there's a lot more that aren't listed here, but just look at the Thursday waiver wire for the first true look that we get this week. Remember, Seattle and San Francisco are Thursday Night Football, so check the news 90 minutes prior for the last update. Okay, let's move on to the underappreciated. At quarterback, I have Caleb Williams. He's at home versus the Jags, who almost got beat by Flacco, and they were up 2 touchdowns going in the fourth quarter. And it's in Chicago. I like Caleb here for at least 3 touchdowns. Daniel Jones, bring on the haters, man. Huge week last week without Neighbors. He should have another big week against the Bengals at home in a shootout. Jalen Hurts is the last quarterback. He's really been a letdown so far this season. I have him in a lot of my leagues, so I know. The loss of both of his key wide receivers has had an impact, but he has a chance to get both back, and he's up against the Browns and Watson. Yeah, buddy. At running back, Harris. Now, Fields vultures most of his TDs and can't move the offense, but if Wilson shows up, I think Najee has a chance to have a big game here. Swift in Chicago, I think he gets 100 yards total combined and a touchdown. That's very realistic in this game. And then Jacobs at Green Bay, again, same kind of situation as Swift. I'm thinking over 100 yards total and a touchdown. At wide receiver, Jalen Polk. I know it's a stretch here, but I think May and the Patriots dial up some specific plays to feed their young wideout. Brian Thomas Jr., if he can get behind the Chicago defense and score, can T-Law throw it? I think he has a big day here as well. And then DJ Moore, another dominating week. This just has 100 yards and a touchdown written all over it. At tight end, Theo Johnson. Now, I know he hasn't played much, but the Giants may have something here. And since he gives up a lot of points to tight ends, so I think Theo could see another big week. Ferguson, Detroit's going to have to double CeeDee Lamb and simultaneously pressure Dak, leaving Fergie Ferg for a big day. Last, I have Ingram. He could play his first game this week since his injury in week 1. Let's hope he's up for it, or I'm completely done with him. I'm just not even going to say his name anymore. For the overhyped, at quarterback, I have Bo Nix. The Chargers are a tough defense. He's not going to have a 3-touchdown day here. I wouldn't even start him. Second quarterback I have is Justin Hebert. The Denver defense is legit. This is going to be a tough day for all the skill players on Los Angeles. I would sit him as well if you have another option. And then last, Allen. Now, I know that's a shocker, and I know you're going to start him, but getting the Jets defense in New York, and he doesn't have any receivers. He's going to be running the ball a lot and under pressure. Overhyped at running back, I have J.K. Dobbins. Now, I know he's a great running back, but again, Denver is an extremely tough defense against the run. It's going to be a rough day for him. Second running back I have is either Sermon or Goodson. I know Sermon has a collarbone issue, so Goodson might take over there. They're against Tennessee. In Tennessee, this is another tough out for a couple of mediocre runners. And then last, I have any Texans running back. Really don't know who's it's going to be. Is it going to be Pierce? Is it going to be Akers? Ogunbowale? New England is sneaky good against the run. I wouldn't start any of them except maybe the OG. At wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. Now, he had a big week, and I know Daniels is playing great, but this is a difficult matchup against Baltimore. Their defense is going to put a lot of pressure on Daniels, and I think he's going to be on the run a lot. If Terry can stay with him on the run, he has the opportunity to get a couple of catches. He might even get a short touchdown, but he's not going to have a big week like he had last week. Second wide receiver I have is Quentin Johnston. Patrick Surtain is going to own him in Denver, just like he did last week. So I wouldn't even think about starting him here. And last, Shaheed. The Saints are in trouble without starting Carr, and Shaheed is a deep threat. I don't know that Rattler has the skill capability to hit Shaheed with a 40-yard bomb on the run in stride. I think Shaheed has a really light day, or he could even put up a goose egg. I'm not sure that Rattler has the deep ball accuracy to hit him. At tight end, Bowers. Now, I know he's the man, and I'm sure everybody's going to be like, whatever, ding. But Pittsburgh knows he's the only guy on that team. They're going to double him. They're going to rough him up. He's a rookie. They're going to try to intimidate him. Second tight end is Goddard. Now, if AJ and Devonta are both back, Goddard becomes the third wheel again, and he's going to get left out. All right, that's it for the under-overs. I hope this helps you make some tough decisions for the week. Players often play better at home versus away, or they're more hyped to play on nationally televised games like Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, or if they're facing division rivals. So try to target those players if you're on the fence between one or the other. Now, before we sign off, I want to give a shout out to our men and women in uniform who protect the freedoms we hold dear. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. And finally, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and follow us on X, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you can stay up to date on our latest content. And until then, remember, established dominance isn't just a catchphrase, it's a commitment. Are you ready?